The next dish I'm going to show you is the stacked chicken breast. Again, I first have to prepare my chicken before I can show you how to stack it and the other ingredients that I need to cook. What I've done with the chicken breast is I've done exactly the same as what I did with the squid steak, is that I've just separated the chicken breast in two. Okay, all I did was I literally just cut it through the center of the chicken breast. Again, if you prepare your chicken breast, select the slightly thicker ones for this dish. It just makes it easier for you to cut. All I'm going to do now, I'm lightly going to oil the chicken breast. The reason I do that is I want to get some nice lines on it from the char grill, and again, it just prevents it from ultimately sticking. So all I'm going to do is just nice onto a nice hot steak grill, and I'm going to allow it to grill for a few minutes. The reason for that is I want it to be able to seal the chicken breast so that when I come to turn it, it's not going to stick on the grill. Allow the chicken breast to char grill on the one side for a few minutes. All I'm going to do now is simply just give it a nice turn. As you can see, we're going to lift it up a little bit for you. We've got some nice grill markings on the chicken breast, and I'm just going to allow it to grill till it's finished now. I've allowed the chicken breast to grill on one side about 3 or 4 minutes. We turned it, we've allowed it to grill for 3 or 4 minutes on this side. Just checking it's ready. I'm just going to remove them from the steak grill now, and they're now ready for plating. Please note I haven't basted them in any way. I'm going to use the red pasta sauce to finish the dish, so we don't want to complicate the tastes. What we're going to do now is we're going to do the spinach and mushroom filling for the stacked chicken, and also with this particular dish I've already prepared one portion of mash. So to finish this dish I need some olive oil, some sliced mushrooms, some spinach that has already been blanched, cleaned, and when you clean the spinach, please make sure that you take all the sand out, so you might have to wash it 4 or 5 times. I've got my mash portion, I've got my garlic butter, I've got my parmesan cheese, I've got my red pasta sauce, some fish spice, and my pepper mill. So all we're going to do is we're just going to heat up our pan slightly, and we're simply going to prepare the mushrooms and spinach. I'm just going to put a little bit of oil. One always puts a little bit of cooking oil if you're going to cook with garlic butter. It just prevents the butter from burning as quickly as what it would if the pan is too hot. To that, I've got my garlic butter. I'm just going to add my garlic butter. To that, I'm going to add my sliced mushrooms and my spinach. All I want to do now is I just want to blanch the spinach and the mushrooms nicely. Again, you can see that there's a nice sizzling sound coming from the frying pan. I'm not boiling my spinach, I'm not boiling my mushrooms. I'm actually giving them a nice saute. The butter, the garlic will all add to the flavor of this particular dish. Remembering that a mushroom is 99% water, so you don't want to cook it for too long, otherwise it's just going to shrink in size and the customer's going to think he's not getting any mushrooms with his dish. This process literally happens very quickly. Right, I'm just going to lower my heat fractionally because that is almost ready. But before I take it off, I'm just going to give a couple of turns of black pepper, and I'm simply going to just sprinkle a little bit of fish spice. And as you can see, my mushrooms have taken a nice color. There's no water in the bottom of the pan, nothing's been boiled, lovely fried. My spinach is ready for plating. I'm now going to show you how to plate the stacked chicken. All I'm going to do now is, as you can see, I've put the mash into the plate. I've just flattened it slightly because obviously you want to create a platform where you can build the stack on. To that, I'm going to take my first piece of spinach. I'm just going to layer it, a couple of pieces of spinach, just to layer it across the mash. I'm going to layer my first piece of chicken. Then I'm just going to create the last piece of spinach on top of that. It's very important that we show a little bit of the chicken. To that, I'm just going to take my mushrooms. I'm just going to spoon that over the spinach. I'm not too worried if a mushroom or two falls out. You would like it not to, but if it does, it's not the end of the world, because the customer is just going to see that he actually has a few mushrooms in his dish. Then I'm simply just going to top it with the second chicken breast. And last of all, I'm just going to take my red pasta sauce. The red pasta sauce will be ready in your bain-marie. I'm just going to spoon it across the top. As you can see, I'm not throwing it on like a soup. I just want the customer to be able to see the spinach, the chicken, the mushrooms. Just make sure always that your plate is clean. Very simple dish, very easy to make. And last of all, just before I serve it, I'm just going to take a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Now I'm just going to sprinkle that on top of the red sauce. We have our stacked chicken.